comes my favorite city, the city of Kolkata. It's a city with a heart and city that I feel very closely and emotionally connected with. It's also not an easy city to manage historically, but the kind of great strides that Kolkata has made over the past 7, 8 years is absolutely admirable. I mean, specifically in the areas of infrastructure, so on and so forth. The city stands completely transformed. It is also a very participative city. So let me uh, invite Mr. Binod Kumar, who's an accomplished administrator, has won several accolades, including National Award for Excellence in Implementation of NREGS in North 24 Parganas. He also completed land acquisition within a time of nearly 2 months, the fastest in the country. Given his achievements, he has been promoted as a principal secretariat in West Bengal. It also shows the kind of important city of Calcutta gets. Mr. Binod Kumar, Municipal Commissioner, Kolkata. For us.
Thank you very much, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Uh, Thank you for giving this opportunity to Kolkata City to share our work and our thoughts. I'm slightly disappointed that I could not join in the morning session because there was a program of mayor where he meets the citizen every Saturday. In fact, that's again a unique program where there's a phone in and the mayor listens to the citizens and the entire corporation officials are there in the hall, and the problems or the difficulties that the citizen face is resolved during the phone call itself. So I was there. From there I've just come. Now coming to COVID, it's a pandemic which has been a global phenomena, and India and the other cities and especially the urban areas have faced this pandemic. We have faced two waves. The second wave was much larger than the first wave. So if I talk about West Bengal, so in the first wave, our peak had gone around 4,500 range infections per day, whereas in second wave the number went up to 22,000. So that's the kind of challenge that we had to face. Naturally, with daily infections being so high, the problem and the pressure which the healthcare resources face, become very acute. Uh, the strategy to fight COVID is very simple, and it's common across the globe. That people have to be made aware to change their habits. People have to wear mask. People have to maintain distances. People have to improve their hand hygiene. So these are the things which only can help us in fighting the COVID. In phase one, we did not have the vaccine. Now we have the vaccines. So vaccinating people has become the top priority. As they say, the three T's: test, track, and treat. So what we feel in Kolkata is that maybe vaccination becomes the most important part, because when you are isolating people, when you are resorting to though in Kolkata we have not done lockdown, but there are something called the restrictions. Now all these things take a toll on day-to-day life of people, on the economic activities, and also there has to be a very fine balance on what you're doing. So the strategies, if I can be very quick and summarize, the strategy has been that do a very high level of testing. The idea is that if somebody is infected, he's identified, tested, and isolated ASAP, so that the chances or the risk of him propagating the infection is minimized. We do very intensive tracking of all those who may have come in contact with him, primarily the family members. So there's a call center which is set up at the KMC headquarters and each Bodo office. Now, Bodo is the next division of the corporation. So in Kolkata, we have 16 boroughs. So Borough is a unit where every department of KMC has an officer there. So practically, the city is governed through the Bodo's office. So at each Bodo, we have call center where the team led by the executive health officer of the health department, they do the tracking part and make sure that all those who are in the risk categories are tested. Treatment part is not directly dealt by the city. It's dealt by the health department, the state government. But KMC plays a role in the sense that we liaise with the hospitals. We maintain the next level of care. We call it safe home. So, like today, the pressure on health resources is not there. Our safe homes have all been, closed. I mean, there are no inmates there, but they are all kept in ready condition. Being prepared is half the battle won. So, safe home was the next level of things when we had very high caseloads coming. So, we had safe home for those people who were tested positive, but were either asymptomatic or very mild symptomatic people. So they were kept in the safe home so that we had the basic oxygen facilities there, the basic doctors were there and all. But this was to reduce the pressure on the hospitals which were providing the specialized care. The other thing that we have been very religiously following is sanitation. So we do the sanitation of our basti areas, markets, places where people generally aggregate, and across. So we have procured sanitation machines, big sanitation cannons and all, so that in city we are focusing on the sanitation. And the testing, since the onset of COVID, Government of West Bengal as well as Kolkata city, we have set up new labs, and we have acquired new machines so that RT-PCR testings can be escalated at will, as and when the need arises. Vaccination is one thing which I wanted to talk most in detail. In city, in Kolkata, we have been vaccinating around 62 to 65,000 people daily. The idea was to vaccinate everyone. As per 2011 census, our population was 45 lakhs, and we have already vaccinated around 34 lakhs people. So, if you see percentage of population vaccinated is quite high. We have not only been vaccinating people from the Kolkata city, we have also been vaccinating people from the catchment area. There's a large floating population of people who come to Kolkata for work and for other miscellaneous, and also we have said that anybody who is coming to Kolkata, whether he is residing here or not, we said let's not distinguish and vaccinate them all. The other thing which West Bengal and Kolkata Municipal Corporation has, that we have negative, vaccine wastage. So we very minutely monitor how the vials are utilized. We make sure that we open the vial only if there are at least 10 people around. And since we have done extensive IEC, as a result, we have at our vaccination center, we have good number of people. When we started vaccination, we had 20 vaccination centers. From there, now for the city, we have around 280 vaccination centers. So that is the kind of escalations we have done. Off late, for the last 7 days, city is facing some constraint on supply of vaccines because state also is not getting that many vaccines, and maybe the other areas also they are now catering to, because city has managed to bring down its infections. So now our city has infections, in 2 digits. So that way we are quite comfortable, quite safe at this place. But we have not, let our guards down. We remain prepared because we do not know, when and if at all the third wave strikes. But our idea is that let's vaccinate everyone so that third wave do not come at all. And if it comes, then we be prepared with our health infrastructure. Uh, One thing that I wanted to talk about vaccination is that, though the CoWIN portal is there through which people can do scheduling and all, but CoWIN portal being a portal which is centrally managed, and the source code and everything is with the Delhi, it was not very easy to do local variations on the CoWIN portal. So what we have done is we have launched a WhatsApp chatbot. We call it CVR, COVID vaccine registration. So it's a very simple thing. The number is 8335999000, where people can just send a small WhatsApp message, and then it starts interacting. It will take the basic details and give them the slot. When we started after that, we wanted to take a feedback, and the feedback we got from the people were amazing. We have video evidences of that. We have feedback forms signed by them all. What they said was that the KMC vaccination centers where people had gone booking their slot on the CVR chatbot was far better than the corporate hospitals. They said in the corporate hospitals, you go and still there was some waiting time. But here, since we were giving slots of half an hour, and only people who had slots during that half an hour were there. So we had halls where there were no crowding. People came, took their vaccine, and they were done with. The moment they came, within 5 to 10 minutes, they were administered the vaccines, and then there was a comfortable air-conditioned area where they waited for mandatory 30 minutes to ensure that there are no AEFI reported. This is a thing which NDTV also covered, and they talked about this on their national news. So this is one thing which I wanted to talk. I think the other things regarding safe home, oxygen facilities, and oxygen parlor, all those things everybody is doing. So I will not talk about that in detail, because as of now, that's really not being demanded. People are not facing any shortages of oxygen. In fact, the caseload has come down, so people are not facing shortages of beds and all. Regarding vaccination, one thing that I want to say was that when the vaccination started and the kind of vaccines that we're receiving, we were able to vaccinate it with the help of the vaccinator that KMC already had. But we soon realized that the supply of vaccines are going to improve, and there's going to be a larger demand for the vaccines. In the initial days, there was what is called the vaccine hesitancy. So not many people were coming forward, and it required. So, for example, the corporation employees are the frontline workers, and they were there in the first category with the healthcare workers. But a lot of our own employees, had questions. So to give them confidence, so what I did was that myself with all my senior officials, including the head of the departments, the director generals of various engineering departments, we said, let us vaccinate ourselves first. So we took them, and then the employees saw, okay, fine, if the bosses are vaccinating, that means vaccine is safe and vaccine is good. So that was one way of leading by example. Now, of course, after second wave, the things have got reversed. Now more and more people are asking for vaccines. So what we had done was, we said that we will have to escalate the number of vaccination centers, and the vaccinators that we had in KMC, will be a constraint in opening the vaccine centers. So what we did was, we identified other healthcare workers who could be vaccinator but had not been certified as a vaccinators, and we identified 576 such people. We took up with the health department. We said that please train them as a vaccinator, so that and that was done pretty early. That later, if we really have to open up new centers, then this workforce is ready. And it is on that count that I say that when we have 280 centers running in Kolkata, that's because we have sufficient pool of vaccinators ready. And should there be more supply, we will be able to maybe open more centers also. So these are some of the things that I wanted to talk. If there are any questions, discussions, suggestions, opinions, we'll be happy to note, because this is a pandemic where all of us have to keep learning from each other. And only when we are learning, cooperating with each other, then can we win over this pandemic. And I conclude by saying that this is a pandemic where nobody is safe until unless everyone is safe. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Excellent insights, Mr. Binod Kumar. And as you rightly said, that in this battle, there are only two sides, it's COVID and it's the rest of us. And that's the only way this battle has to be fought and won. And I'm particularly very impressed with this chatbot initiative that you took. That shows how out of the box use of technology can actually make things easier for the people. So, with that, let me first invite Sujit Patheja. Sujit, would you like to share your views and comments?
No, absolutely. I think I was really impressed with that with the WhatsApp chatbot initiative, and I think Kolkata amongst the cities across India have always been at the forefront in terms of utilizing technology, and it is this city of intellectuals. So that is the least we should expect from Kolkata. But Mr. Vinod, I you talked about how you have utilized this technology and you have had feedback and all. I would really like to understand from you, what, not just from a COVID responding to a particular COVID situation, but overall response to a pandemic situation or even beyond, because pandemic is not just about the people getting sick and vaccinated. It is also about the economy getting affected. There's also a mental pressure on people who have gone through this. There is a lot of other aspects of COVID that seem to be either ignored or not given that much attention as they deserve. As Kolkata Municipal Corporation, how do you intend to engage with your citizens? How do you intend to become more participative? Where as we discussed, as we have been discussing, where you not only are listening to what they are saying, but also based on that feedback and the analysis of that feedback, you're also acting to ensure that the citizens feel that they have been heard. Typically, we have seen the response of citizens to government initiatives has mostly been far and few, for a simple reason that they feel that who would listen to me, or what will happen if I say something. So it becomes very important that we hear every voice and act on it, and we go back to that to that individual or a community and say that we have acted upon your feedback, and what do you think now, so that you close that loop and they also feel that they're part of the journey of or part of the governance. So from that perspective, I would like to really hear what Kolkata intends to do or has already done.
Thank you, Sujit. But before I invite Mr. Binod Kumar to answer, let me just take quick comments from Dr. Ramachandran and Dr. Shefali Dash as well. The key of the whole thing is, as you said, that you have to feel satisfied that you've been heard.
Yeah,
that's half the battle.
absolutely.
I think in West Bengal, they had this model of tell Didi about it. My Bengali is very bad, but Didi nu ko bolun, or what was that, Mr. Binod Kumar? What's the
Didi ke bolo.
Didi ke bolo. So if we can make this Didi ke bolo like a mass movement across cities and districts, I think people will have the satisfaction of having been heard. I'm certain that the government would take note of and react to such a thing. But Dr. Ramachandran, this was a point you've also made on several panels.
Yeah, I'll just briefly list 3-4 points for Binod Kumar. The first is, did this whole exercise initiate a thought process about whether the healthcare coverage in the city is sufficient, or you need to expand it? Are there some thoughts on that? Because that would be not only a lesson, very good consequence of this. that would be critical, I think. Second point is, I know Kolkata, West Bengal in general, Kolkata is a much more democratized city where everything goes to the ground level. So I don't know whether you had the opportunity of listening to the Mumbai presentation or you are aware of it. So compared to a Mumbai scenario, how different it is in Kolkata as far as the approach, the actions taken, people's involvement, all these are concerned, because these are two different cups of tea as I see it. The third point is, I think you referred to the city population of 45 lakhs. I know Kolkata is a huge urban agglomeration. So whatever you said, does it immediately become equally applicable to the agglomeration as such? Because then I suppose the corporation's domain goes out and someone else comes in. So was that equally well managed, though they are two different jurisdictions? And the last point in the context of digital city, I mean, New York is a big example of how a digital city can function through Twitter, Facebook, mobile, whatever it is. So in your city, what would be the usage of mobile? I mean, I think that's the simplest form which people would use. Mobile phones by people to access services, be in touch. I don't know whether it could be almost 100% or is it much less? And do you see some sort of change happening as far as that segment is concerned, because we are in that direction? Those are the, I think, 4 points I had for you. Back to you, Samir.
Yeah, Dr. Shefali Das, your comments?
Has got me. Well, Mr. Vinod Kumar, you raised two very important points which started as constraints and you solved it nicely. So, I mean, let me tell you, one is about the vaccine hesitancy, which you managed through convincing people through various media and all that. And second thing is about the problem with the registration with CoWIN portal and how you manage with your chatbot. So now my point is, since we are in the third wave, we are thinking of, getting it in more and more places. So how your initiative in Kolkata can be implemented in smaller places, because your technology is very simple. You are using only the mobile technology for the WhatsApp and social media. So nowadays, even the rural people also know how to use WhatsApp. Can you please explain how this can be handled by smaller municipalities and smaller towns? Because you have handled very nicely. So that's why your success story can really play a good role.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you so much,
Thank-
Vinodji. So we are looking at you with a lot of hope.
Thank you so much. Let me try to address the issues one by one. So what Sujit ji said was about technology adoption. I just had read a meme that, what is that which has contributed to the technology adoption in the company? That was from a corporate. So, said the CEO 8%, the chief technical officer, 6%, and pandemic COVID 86%.
Okay.
So it's a fact that this COVID pandemic has forced all of us to think of ways of using technology to continue doing our work. Now, after this, we realize that it is perfectly possible to work from home. It is perfectly possible to interact with the people. It is perfectly possible to use the Zoom conference or any platform to meet as we are doing now, and it is not necessary that people have to travel and physically meet. Now, in that aspect, as I told you that right before the pandemic, also the mayor had been meeting the people over the phone call. So the program is called Talk to Mayor, where people called and the entire corporate team is there, so that when people raise something on the spot, the officer they are prepared with their laptops and all. They can check and they can tell what the issues is, and in case the issue is not pre-registered, then they are supposed to visit the spot the next day and provide the solution. The entire cycle has to be completed within a week. Now, during pandemic, what struck me is that people would, after that also, there are many people who would generally meet the commissioner, and we're finding it difficult because the transports, there were restrictions. People were scared to come out of home and all. So what we've started a conference where people can actually on Zoom platform meet the municipal commissioners. So that's 2 days a week, like Wednesday and Saturday from 11 to 12. So people can just log in, and one by one I take them in, listen to their things, jot down their problems and all, and pass it down the line. And on the other 2 day, my 2IC special municipal commissioner meets. Now we meet, every day we meet around, on a day we'll meet around say 20-25 people. Number per se is not very large, but symbolically it's a great thing. Number one, that whatever is this number, people are able to put their point across, put their suggestion, put their problems across from the comfort of their home in this pandemic. The second is that suddenly you become very accessible to the general public, and that has a salutating effect down the line. Now all your members, so your your assistant engineer, executive engineers, or your inspectors or your managers, they know that any citizen is very easily going to meet the commissioner or the special municipal commissioner. And suddenly I have noticed that the pendencies have improved. So that I feel is a great use of technology. Social media handle like Twitter is again an excellent tool. A lot of people are now approaching organizations on Twitter, and that is why I personally read all the tweets, all the comments, and am in regular touch with the organization, with the agency that is maintaining our Twitter handles. And we see that that's an excellent platform where you can get your citizens' feedback and also redress their problems. So that was on the technology aspect, which Mr. Sujit Pathreja had raised. Coming back to Dr. Ramachandran, healthcare coverage, sir, is extremely important, and we realized it during on the phase 1. We realized that how important it was to augment the testing effort. When the phase 1 was there, I was in health department as secretary, and I had first-hand experience of difficulties that we faced. That is the time then you learn what is a RT-PCR machine, what is a biosafety lab, what are the consumables that go into this. So you sit down with your HOD of biochemistry, you sit down with the technical peoples, and work out. You set up a plan that so we in the phase 1 we had targeted that every district headquarter must have a RT-PCR lab. And the second wave we escalated it up that now every subdivision has an RT-PCR lab, because until unless you have lab facilities, until unless you have trained manpower, you cannot test people. And RT-PCR is a gold standard. And for setting up a RT-PCR lab is quite a elaborate thing. You have to go right up to ICMR and get the approvals. You just can't set up a lab without following the protocol. And it is important because when you are going to give a test result from there, it is absolutely essential that the processes are standardized, the equipments are standardized, you have proper permission from the ICMR, and that they are maintaining those records on their portal. That was on the testing. The next thing, which is far more important, is not treating people. So you should have enough beds, you should have enough oxygen supplies, you should have enough ventilation, and whatever all is required for that, you should have enough CT scan machines and all. And that is where I will draw upon my experience as a secretary health department. KMC does not really does much of a curative aspect. We are primarily into the primary health, but drawing upon from the health department experience, I'll say that we have invested massively in upgrading hospital infrastructure and acquiring these equipments and training our people. Now as we talk, we are now focusing on training our HR on pediatric care, because what is being told is that if the third wave strikes, the children are going to be at maximum risk, because the adult population, the larger chunk of that has already been vaccinated. So we are strengthening our pediatric units, PQ, NICU, all those things, and having our general MBBS doctors being provided the bare minimum essentials where they are able to do some kind of pediatric care. Unfortunately, healthcare personnel, the doctors, are highly skilled, human resource, and there's a limitation. You cannot simply add doctors, in matter of 6 months or 1 year. It's a long planning. It has to be a continuous thing. Where you have to augment your seats in the medical college, where you have to have seats for at PG level and postdoc level, and people have to train. So that's a long-term exercise, but it is well worth the effort, because these resources do stay with you, and do continue serving the society. Talking about the Mumbai model, so the Mumbai model and Kolkata model, there are differences. As Mr. Samir Kochhar said, that the social fabric, the political fabric of the two states and the two cities are different. Kolkata, we feel, I don't know whether I should say that we are far more democratic, but the involvement of people in governance and decision making is much higher. People here are concerned. It is. I'm not from Bengal, from outside, but I have seen that the political, the level of consciousness in the state is far higher, even amongst people who are not highly educated. But they are very politically aware. So here, what we, Mumbai I had read was that, corporation was kind of controlling the entire admission, all hospitals, they were, they centralized all the test result used to come to them. From there, they will intimate people, they'll intimate the hospital, they'll say that where they're going and all. Kolkata, people could approach the hospitals, but what we have, other technological intervention that I should talk about, which has been done by the state government. It's integrated COVID management response. So we have a management system, ICMS. So we have an ICMS system which maintains real time the bed availability and the occupancy, and it maintains how the things are being added. And this is something which is being monitored on a daily basis by the Chief Secretary, and Madam Chief Minister also takes a look at very closely on this, because every time she has been reviewing with us, she talks about the ICMS figures and on that so how we are monitoring was that if somebody needs a bed, they can see at the ICMS portal where the bed availability is there. We had centralized call center where people could, it was one number where, of course, on the front it was one number, and back end there were multiple numbers. So where people could, call for teleconsultation, or people could call for psychological consultation, or people could call to talk about, FAQs, testing, or people could call about to find out the bed availability and assistance on admission. So there were different cells. This all, let me clarify that these were not all efforts of Kolkata Municipal Corporation, but the Swasthya Bhavan, the health department. But we do work as a team. We do fill in the gaps of what others may have left. One more thing which is unique to state is we have what is called West Bengal Clinical Establishment Regulatory Commission. So in the year 2017, I think our WBCERC Act was passed. It was, it was the pet topic of our Chief Minister. And this Clinical Establishment Regulatory Commission is the one which regulates all the private clinical establishment, all the private hospitals. And it is headed by a retired High Court judge. And he's been very proactive. No, he has also made himself available. So now citizens can approach him, and, so wherever they feel there's a gap on the private hospitals, so that's also one of the forum through which, we have been trying to kind of ensure that the private hospitals are falling in line, kind of ensuring that there's a transparency in admission, kind of ensuring that, there's a transparency in billing. In Kolkata, we were very sensitive that, this pandemic, the hospitals do not take people for a ride. And, because in the pressure, the lure of, making a fast buck was very high. And we penalized some of the hospitals very severely. to make sure that those aberrations do not step in. Why I know a great deal about WBC ERC is that because I also happen to be the vice chairperson of the commission. Retired justice is the chairperson, and this is the chair that I've been holding since my days in the health department. After that, I've moved also, but the government has fitted proper to let me continue there. So, talking about mobile usage and the bandwidth, we are fortunate that the mobile usage is nearly 100%. So everybody is carrying a mobile phone. If not a smartphone, normal phone everybody has, and the smartphone penetration also is very high, thanks to data being very cheap. That is the kind of privilege which our country has, which maybe many of the developed countries do not have. The kind of penetration of bandwidth, data, and access to mobile technology. So that is why when the WhatsApp chatbot, you could see that everybody was able to use, and we had piloted this and we ran it for around around a month. Then we presented this to the chief minister, who also happens to be the health minister, and she was very happy. And then she said, let's let it be rolled out to the entire state. And we took a couple of days to customize that. And now, as you had suggested, whether rolling out of this technology can be. So now this chatbot is used across the state. So every districts are now using it, and so people have confirmed fixed schedule. The advantage of this is that we can our slots.
We've kind of absolutely timed out. Your story is so engrossing. So if I may seek another meeting with you, where we learn in more detail how this WhatsApp can be useful for the entire country, learn from your other best practices as well, and maybe start a dialogue. As I mentioned that we started this task force on participative and predictive governance. So participation, of course, we can come and learn from you. Predictability is something that maybe some of our digital partners and senior bureaucrats who've been in the domain can share some knowledge. And I think together it is going to be a win-win situation. Thank you so much.
Sir, you're welcome, sir. Thank you so much.